Hey guys, so in a time where movies like Transformers, Age of Extinction, Jupiter Ascending, and The Forest come out every year, it's sometimes hard to remember that there are great movies that come out every year too, which is why I love it when Oscar season rolls around because they celebrate the best in movies of the year and all the things that make those movies great, whether it be visual effects, production design, directing, acting, etc. So this year I thought I would do a prediction video on what I think is going to take home the gold from the 80th Academy Awards tonight. Granted, in like 12 hours, these predictions are going to be very outdated because I'm sure at least a couple of these are not going to come true, but it's fun to guess anyway. So without further ado, let's get started on what I think are going to take home like about 9 or 10 of the awards tonight, starting with Best Animated Feature. Best Animated Feature, there are 5 movies nominated this year, and I think that the shoe-in to win is Inside Out. I think Inside Out should have been nominated for Best Picture this year. I thought that it told its story in a really innovative and really creative way that was accessible to kids and really relatable for adults. I'm bummed that it didn't get nominated for Best Picture, but I'm glad it got nominated for Best Animated. Could you imagine if it didn't? And I think that it's absolutely a lock to win Best Animated. Moving on, then, we have 2 awards for Best Writing. We have Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Original Screenplay. I think Best Adapted Screenplay will go to The Big Short. I'm not remembering the names of the writers on The Big Short, so I'm sorry, but I think those guys will definitely take it home. The screenplay for The Big Short is based on the book by Michael Lewis, and it took a lot of financial facts, a lot of real people, and a lot of statistics that would have gone completely over my head, and it combined it into one concise movie that I thought was really well told, and it made this information much more accessible to people like me who don't know the stock market that well. In terms of Best Original Screenplay, I think that's going to go to Spotlight, because when you realize that Spotlight wasn't based on any kind of book, it makes it even more impressive that these writers went out and they found information and they did their research and they found out who the real people were in this case, and they tied it all together into one script, which I was kind of baffled by. I wasn't a huge fan of Spotlight. I thought the screenplay was kind of clunky in a few places, but when you recognize that all that research was done for this movie, then you can understand why the Academy would give them the award for it. And it makes sense because Big Short and Spotlight wanted the Writers' Guild, so I'm definitely banking on those two to win the Screenplay Awards at the Oscars. Moving on into the acting performances, starting off with Best Supporting Actress, I think that Alicia Vikander for The Danish Girl is going to take this one home. I think that the only possible upset could be from Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs, because Winslet was really great in that movie, but I think that Vikander, she was great this year in The Danish Girl and Ex Machina, and she wasn't nominated for Ex Machina, so I think that some of those votes will pool together and get her the win, because she was honestly fantastic in both. And in The Danish Girl, she almost stole the show from Eddie Redmayne, who won an Oscar last year and is nominated this year. And to steal the show from an Academy Award winner is a feat that not many people can accomplish. She did fantastic in her role. I thought that she really brought the heart to that movie, and I think that Alicia Vikander is definitely going to be the one to win. Moving on to Supporting Actor, I think that Sylvester Stallone will win for Creed. Sylvester Stallone was the heart and soul of Creed. He was really great in the movie. It's really just mind-boggling that he played Rocky for the first time 40 years ago, and now he's probably going to win an Academy Award for his performance of the same character. 39 years ago, I think, was the time he was nominated for playing Rocky the first time, and I would be shocked if he didn't win. I think that the only possible upset could be from Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, but I know he hasn't done that much campaigning. Supporting Actor this year is a great category, though. You've got Mark Ruffalo for Spotlight, who's my favorite part of that movie. You've got Christian Bale for The Big Short, who's also incredible. Tom Hardy, who I think stole the show from Leo in The Revenant. So this was a really stacked category. There were probably like 4 or 5 other actors who could have been in Best Supporting Actor this year, but just weren't because of nominee number. Sylvester Stallone for the win, though. If any of the other actors won, I would be a little bit disappointed, but I can understand because, like I said, very strong category this year. Moving into Best Lead Actress, I think is the biggest lock of the night, which is Brie Larson to win for Room. I've talked ad nauseum about Room. I loved Room so much. Brie Larson and Jacob Tremblay played really well off each other, and Brie Larson was the one who really brought the adult emotion to that movie, and she was the one that made you cry so much. Her performance was powerful, it was heartbreaking, it had all the things the Academy Award voters look for. So thanks for playing Saoirse Ronan and Jennifer Lawrence, but I mean, this is Brie Larson's to take home. Moving into Best Lead Actor. You guys know I'm never afraid to be different, and I know it's popular to say Leo should win for The Revenant, and I think that Leo probably will win for The Revenant. But me, making my Oscar ballot, I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to go with what I've been saying since day one, which is Michael Fassbender. He's the one I'm putting on my ballot, even though he probably won't end up winning. He was incredible as Steve Jobs. He absolutely transformed. I thought that Leo gave a good physical performance in The Revenant, but I thought that Fassbender gave a great physical and emotional performance in Steve Jobs. He had you magnetized to the screen. Fassbender was my favorite performance of last year, so maybe I'm just doing that because that's what my heart tells me to go with. So I'll say this, for your ballot, if you want to know who will win, it's probably DiCaprio. If you want to know who should win, it's Fassbender for sure. I actually did an entire post on why DiCaprio shouldn't win the Oscar, which might be kind of cynical of me. I'll put that in the description down below. I think DiCaprio is a great actor, but The Revenant was probably only like my 5th or 6th favorite performance from him. And Fassbender gave the performance of his career, so I'm going with Fassbender on this one. Moving on to Best Director, there's some debate about this, but I think that Alejandro Iñárritu for The Revenant will take this one home. He's a very experimental filmmaker, like last year. His film Birdman won him Best Screenplay, Best Director, and Best Picture, and he did a lot of long takes in that. In The Revenant, he did something completely new. He shot in all natural light, so he only used the sun or like fires to light all of the scenes. That's why The Revenant looks so real and raw, because there was no like studio production lights around it. I'm using more lights to light this video shoot right now than he used in The Revenant. Not to mention he used some more of those long takes in The Revenant. He really captured the gritty feeling of being out on the frontier in the 19th century. The Revenant wasn't a perfect film, but I thought the directing was the star of that movie. Alejandro Iñárritu definitely deserves to be recognized by the Academy. And if he wins, this will be the first year since 1950 that a director wins back-to-back awards for directing, so I kind of want to see that happen too. And finally, the Best Picture category. There are 8 movies nominated for Best Picture this year. I have seen 7 of them. I actually just watched Mad Max this morning, but I did miss out on Brooklyn. That's why I'm wearing the green, because, you know, honor Brooklyn even though I didn't see it. Out of those 7, though, I do know who's going to win. Not because the Academy said, hey, John, guess what? We're going to tell you who's going to win. No, but more because, like, you know, I use logic to figure it out. So for those of you who don't know, there's more than 2 award ceremonies in Hollywood. Some people think it's the Golden Globes and the Oscars, and that's it. There's other awards. There's the Guild Awards. There's the Directors Guild Award. There's the Writers Guild Award. There's the Screen Actors Guild Award. And all those honor different performances or directing contributions or writing contributions to Hollywood. And there's one called the Producers Guild Awards. And for the past 10 years, the Producers Guild Award for Best Picture always has predicted who's going to win Best Picture at the Oscars, because the voting system is exactly the same as the Oscars. And I don't know, just tradition at this point, I guess. And this year, The Big Short won the Producers Guild Award for Best Picture. So I think The Big Short is going to take home the award this year from the Oscars. Granted, the Producers Guild has not always been right. Like I said, in the past 10 years, I think it's gotten it wrong once. And then after that, the award's been going on since 1991. It's missed like 5 or 6 times, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if The Revenant or Spotlight wound up pulling it away from The Big Short. Out of those 3, The Big Short is my favorite, though. I thought The Big Short was really inventive. I thought it had a lot of energy to it. I thought The Spotlight was kind of one-note. It didn't really convey what it was trying to convey. And I thought The Revenant was a cool directing show, and the actors were okay in it, but the story was lacking. I thought The Big Short hit with performances. The directing was really cool, and I thought the story was awesome. So that's my pick to take home Best Picture. Like I said, don't be surprised if the other 2 take it, though. How ridiculous would it be if there was a tie, though? Like, I looked into it, and ties can happen at the Oscars. They're, like, statistically impossible, though. Like, the 2 movies need to be within 3 votes of each other, and there's 6,000 members of the Academy. So imagine if, like, somebody has 3,000 votes and another person has 3,003, that's when something would tie. But if there was a tie, that would be insane. The only thing more insane than a tie, though, would be if, like, Bridge of Spies came in and, like, slapped the other nominees in the face and took Best Picture home. So just to recap, The Big Short for Best Picture, Alejandro Iñárritu for Best Director. I'm going with my heart and saying Michael Fassbender for Best Actor, Brie Larson for Best Actress, Sylvester Stallone for Best Supporting Actor, Alicia Vikander for Best Supporting Actress, The Big Short and Spotlight as the 2 writing awards, and Inside Out for Best Animated Feature. Those are my thoughts, though, and I do not know everything by far. I'm completely wrong about the Fassbender thing. But be sure to comment below what you guys think is going to win and what you think the biggest upset of the night could be. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to see more content from me. I do new movie reviews every single week. Go over to mymoviethoughts.com, link to that in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/JohnMHayeck. Link to that in the description below as well. Be sure to thumbs up this video, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.